Welcome to the Hoosier Huddle preview show. I'm Lauralys Shallow, joined by Nate Comp. This week, Indiana is traveling to Minnesota for a Friday game, which, as we know, head coach Tom Allen has his opinions on Friday games. He believes that Fridays are meant for high school football, but he said that he'll have his team ready no matter when they're expected to play. So, leading up to this Minnesota game, one of the biggest storylines is the quarterback situation with Minnesota. In their last game against Nebraska, their starting quarterback, Zach Inexstad, left the game in the first quarter with an injury, and their backup, redshirt freshman, Tanner Morgan, took over. Minnesota ended up losing to Nebraska, but Tanner Morgan had a pretty solid game. He showed he could get the job done with his feet, and he threw for 2 touchdowns. Moving on from that offensive side, though, the Minnesota defense allowed Nebraska to score 50-plus points. How do you see the Indiana offense being able to put up points against this Minnesota defense?
I would think it would be a good week for the Indiana offense. We did lose Mike Penix this week to a torn ACL, so that will hurt us, but we still have Ramsey, and he's the one who has the most experience throughout this season. And I'm just going to look forward to the running game. It seemed like last game it was finally back. We had Stevie Scott running for over 100 yards again, and it really seemed like the offensive line really dominated Penn State's defensive line. I would think they could have a field day if they did that against Penn State. They should be able to do that again against Minnesota this week.
Yeah, no doubt. Stevie Scott definitely had his best rushing performance against a Big Ten conference opponent in that Penn State game last week. And now, how important do you think this win is for Indiana? Is this a must-win at Minnesota?
At this point, for bowl eligibility, I feel like this is a must-win. We're just looking forward after this. We've got Maryland, Michigan, and then Purdue at home. We saw Purdue finally get the upset against Ohio State this weekend. They've looked stronger as the season has gone on. It really seems like this game and then the Maryland game will have a primary emphasis on Indiana's bowl eligibility hopes.
Yeah, no doubt with what Nate just said, Indiana really does need to get this win at Minnesota because they need at least 2 more wins this year, and we saw how good Purdue looked against Ohio State. Michigan's a tough matchup, and Maryland at home is winnable, but this is, again, a game that Indiana is favored and should win, and we'll see if they end up getting the job done. And you can catch the game on Fox Sports 1. Kickoff will be 7 p.m. on Friday. For Nate Comp, I'm Lauralys Shallow. Thank you for watching this week's Hoosier Huddle preview show.